But it was him in a very similar outfit and a little Asian woman who was his body double in the video where they just,
Good memory.
they just
that
danced
was Adams,
together.
That was Adams for Peace.
Was it? Yeah.
That was, the song was called Ingenue. Yeah.
It's a really cool video. It's a really good song.
It's a beautiful song.
You used to love
He
that
really-
song, Chris.
I still love
What
that
happened
song.
to
I think
you?
about that
No,
song
just
all... Oh.
You're not the same anymore.
You're no longer the ingenue. Turned 30 in the 90s.
What
What can you do? What can you do?
In my mind, I was like, that's not how the song goes at all.
Oh, so good. In 1996, Scholastic began publishing Animorphs. Over the next 6 years, Katherine Applegate and her husband, Michael Grant, under the pseudonym K.A. Applegate, produced 54 main series books, several spin-offs, and inspired a TV series, graphic novels, and a cult following. We can't tell you where we live. We can't even tell you our last names. But we can tell you our thoughts and feelings on this series, book by book. I'm Miranda.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Chris.
And we are the Anidorks.
These may be kids' books, but we discuss dark themes and mature content. There may also be some explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, I'll tell you. Now that we're damn. Guys, can I say something real to you for a second?
Yeah.
I don't know what's been happening in the past 2 weeks, but in the past 2 weeks, I can think of 4 different instances where I walked up to the plate, bat in hand, looked at the pitcher, said, "You and me, buddy." And then he threw a ball, and it's as though I threw my face down in front of it. I confidently brought my energy into that situation.
I'm ready.
Here we are.
Nothing's there.
I'm not ready. But here we are with Eddie reading chapter 21. I'm sorry, Eddie.
Thank you.
It's time to duel.
I don't know if you heard it, but Eddie did a huge crotch chop just then.
Pants grab.
What is that a reference to? Crotch chop?
The D.
Oh.
Oh, mine was duel is Yu-Gi-Oh.
I got that one. I
nice.
was like, is
Okay.
that part of it? What Chris said? I wasn't sure.
No, I
All
just...
right.
It's a WWE
Hold on,
thing?
let me just put my face in front of this moving case. All right, let's start with chapter 21.
Chapter 21. Tobias and Axe observe Aria going about her routine. Aria walks in the park, visits an art gallery. The only time they can't really spy on her is when she uses the bathroom upon returning to her hotel room.
Which
During
she
the
does
afternoon-
a lot.
Yeah. During the afternoon, just as Tobias and Axe are about to go meet with the team, Aria darts into traffic to save a little girl who has strayed from her mother. Tobias is deeply moved. There's no way this woman is a controller, he thinks, which means there's a very good chance that Tobias is going to have a home. He won't have to hunt for breakfast. He'll sleep in the bed again. Rachel will look at him with something other than pity in her eyes. Axe agrees with Tobias's assessment of Aria. Or does he? That makes it very clear that Aria is not acting as a controller would, Axe says. Very clear.
I love this chapter. It's a short, silly chapter. I mean, I guess it's not that short, but like, it's not long. It's short. But I just love that we've got Tobias never had a functional human relationship and Axe, the literal alien, being like, it might be totally normal that every woman only uses her hotel bathroom and does it roughly every 2 hours, and we will never know otherwise because I'm 12 and you're an alien. Like,
Tobias is like, I think it's because she doesn't want to sit on public toilet seats. Like,
which is valid. Yeah, he's like, I think because girls sit down, they don't like public toilets. He's like,
Yeah.
I've also been hearing, I've been reading a lot of articles lately when I fly over people about this thing called IBS. Like, she just has what's commonly known known as hot girl tummy issues.
Yeah. I love that.
Is that really a phrase?
Yeah.
Is that? Oh no. Oh god.
Are you excited to know that you have hot girl tummy issues?
I guess I can live with it if it comes with the hot girl title.
I don't know. It might
I need that boost right now.
I do love that. You're right that like Axe has even more removed from human beings that he doesn't understand them. But there's also just the fact that they're kids trying to. They're like, they're dealing with like, well, how do adults spend their time? They don't know, and so anything seems likely. Like.
Yeah, and she's like not working right now. She's here for this meeting that's in a couple days. So it's like, oh, she would go to the museum or go to the gardens or go to, you know what I mean? But why she returns to her bathroom her bathroom, that's the one place we can't see. She always keeps her blinds open.
Yes,
so we can see
look
her
at
all
me,
the time.
being a human, doing human
Totally
things.
human.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to let me find the actual description of when she saves that baby.
Oh my god. Yeah.
This is so funny.
Well, before you get to the baby, can we? Oh, I have one quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
To give you time to find it, because I can't wait to talk about this moment. But can we just talk about? We just had a reunion with Visser 3, Alaran, and Ket Halpak.
Yeah.
Not Alaran, but Visser 3.
Yeah.
But we have a little bit of like a potential reunion here. I mean, if this is Unky Axe and like and Tobias,
he doesn't know
and
yet.
And then our new cousin it our cousin?
Aria. Yeah, she's supposed to be a
this is
distant cousin. This could be this could be a family thing.
Yeah.
So there's
a family affair.
There's a little girl breaks away from her mother and turns around and runs directly into a street with a city bus barreling straight for her. Look out, I yelled out of sheer instinct. There was a scream from the mother, but she was too far away. I saw Aria's head snap around. She saw the accident about to happen. She dropped her camera and made a tackle the runner on the 2-yard line lunge. She hit the girl in the back, knocked her forward, and rolled with the little girl into the narrow concrete median strip.
Very cool.
So this is a very similar maneuver to what to what Tobias did when he jumped in front of Beck. And they didn't say he rolled with him, but he might have rolled with it. Like this is very much like jump and grab.
Can Hork-Bashir roll? Maybe they can't with their arm.
They might have too many blades. You might be
Eddie, I need you to say your one.
Yeah.
I need you to say it.
It made me think of a very memorable moment in a video game.
In a very memorable video game set in Philadelphia.
Jason!
One of you has to say the name of the game.
Heavy Rain.
I'll say this is the one. My dad. I want to tell this story. My dad was watching me play this scene in this game. It's the very beginning of Heavy Rain, and like your son walks off in a busy mall, and
you're looking for his balloon. He bought a red balloon.
You find him, and he's across the street from you. And instead of doing the right thing, the character in the game says, "Jason!" and confuses the kid further, so the kid runs across the street thinking he's in trouble.
And he is an idiot.
And
let's just be clear. But.
And our dad was like, this is 100% wrong. The words you say are stay put. Don't move.
He doesn't. My dad has said "don't move" to me so many times in my life.
But it was like profound child rearing advice where I was like, he's right. Like if he had said "stay put," I'm coming to you. Like then the kid has no reason to run across the street.
But 100%, he must have learned that in a parenting class because that is like I have vivid memories of being like 6 years old and like getting separated and being like, "Dad," and he's like, "No,
stay."
He has a story.
You stay. Yeah.
He has a story of doing that to a dog, another person's dog. He was walking our dog off leash. Another dog was off leash. Came barreling toward them, and he put up his hand and he said, "Stay." stop. And the dog stopped. And he was like, and the dog's owner was like, how did you do that? I'm like, it's an energy thing, dude.
It's an energy thing. He's a dog bender.
It is a very similar rule with dogs. You learn this as a dog walker that, more importantly, you're not supposed to move quickly towards the dog that you want because then the dog will think, we're playing, and then run.
We're playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? No, that's exactly right. Like, kids and dogs are not dissimilar.
When you call out to your kid, they're like, I'm going to run back over. And you're like, there's a fucking car. How do you not see it,
Right.
you fucking idiot? But they're a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Children are
But there's the thing my dad
remarkable.
always taught me. He said, because I would say,
Whether the glass
hits the
Are you
pitcher
about to do it?
or the pitcher
Or
hits the
pitcher
glass.
I'm sorry, it's whether the stone hits
the pitcher, the pitcher hits the stone. It's going to be a problem for the pitcher. And the other thing is, when I would get a little older, I would say, like, well, pedestrians have right of way. And he said, you will always lose to a car.
I will say, whether the stone hits the pitcher hits the stone, I was delighted to learn as a teenager when I torrented all of Carl Sagan's Cosmos that is a Carl Sagan quote.
Really?
Yeah.
I always
which
thought
is
it was like
super
about
cool.
abusing your wife or something.
No. So it's a glass pitcher. It's like a glass pitcher full of, like, I don't know, like water or lemonade or whatever. And if a stone hits a glass pitcher, it'll always break it. But
Yeah, and
it's
so it
obvious-
doesn't
it's-
matter which was moving. The
It's
problem
not-
is
it's
the
not-
pitcher
it's not
broke.
like- It's not like the Honeymooners where it's bam, zoom,
Yeah,
right to the moon.
that's kinda
And
what I
let's
thought
go
it was.
to chapter 22.
Quixamon.
Oh, the name was so long. I'm like, that can't
That can't be
possibly
me.
Tobias flies to Rachel's house that night. He's starving. He is so hungry, but he doesn't mention that to Rachel because he's a strong boy. She catches him up on what he missed at the earlier meeting, including that Jake is speculating that the Yerks will use Beck as bait to catch the other free Hork-Bajir. Tobias is skeptical of this. Is Jake just suggesting this so that the free Hork-Bajir will reveal the location of the secret Yerk facility they've been raiding that they refuse to tell the Animorphs about? It's important. We talked about this. Rachel says that it doesn't really matter. They don't have another lead. And if they're wrong, Beck is already a controller. Or he's dead. Woo! And Tobias is like, good point. Why are we worried about this? Tobias is pained by this, actually. He promised that he would get Beck back. And baby Beck.
I want my baby back, baby back.
Chili's baby Beck ribs. Rachel tells him it's not his fault.
The line was, he
good
promised
deal.
that he would get Beck back, and he failed. I don't know that part was...
I'm sorry. Miranda and I were explaining the universe to everyone. Tobias informs Rachel about observing Aria. He tells her that he thinks she might be the real thing, as in not a controller. Rachel tells Tobias that he doesn't have to be... that may be true and that he doesn't have to be a hawk anymore or even an animorph. He can come home. Someone will take care of him. Tobias says that he doesn't need anyone to take care of him. Rachel reveals that she knows he is suffering, that he isn't eating. She calls Tobias out for choosing to starve rather than ask for help just because he doesn't want to feel weak. Tobias tells her that he's a hawk. When a hawk is weak, it dies. Rachel reminds him that he can talk and read and feel. She tells Tobias that he has to make a choice. He can choose to be a hawk, knowing that he'll never be a true hawk for all the reasons she just listed, or he can choose to be a human with a home. Tobias reminds her that if he chooses the latter, he'd no longer be an animorph. Rachel assures Tobias that he'd have her, because the way things are, it had never worked between them. He's a bird, and she's not a bird.
Something else.
Is ready. She's a girl. Some sort of goyle. Yeah. Tobias is ready to storm out of Rachel's room, but Rachel stops him. She tells Tobias that tomorrow is his birthday, that Marco checked the school records to confirm. Tomorrow, Tobias will have to meet with the lawyer and Aria. Tomorrow, Tobias will have to make a choice. Johnny can't decide.
Johnny can't decide.
This is such a sad chapter.
Decide.
Anyway,
No, it is a really sad chapter, and there's a lot of really, really good moments in it, including the most of the conversation. But even very early on, as they're talking about, thinking that Beck is at this facility, and Tobias is like, what if it's just because he wants to know where it is? And Rachel says, maybe Jake has gotten more subtle. It doesn't matter. We don't have another lead. And the inclusion of that after the David trilogy, I feel like is so important. Like that she's like, I don't know. He's had ulterior motives before. So I don't.
She's learned that lesson.
But more importantly, we don't have any other leads. Like, we can try every Yerkpool we know, or we can try the one Yerkpool we don't, the one that they know that the Hork-Bajir have been hitting, and therefore probably the most likely place that they would take him. But it's like either they took him there to lure us into a trap, or to bait them there, or they already yerked him or killed him. Our option, there's no positive option here.
Yeah. I'm distracted by just how loaded this conversation is. How this as a tension between the two of them has been kind of just percolate. The books don't do a great job of keeping you in touch with Tobias and Rachel's relationship if one of them isn't the narrator.
Yeah.
But still, it's something that's been on our mind for so many books. And this whole conversation is super hard to sit on the outside of, because I feel like it's just a situation where Rachel is trying to shepherd someone who's we were saying, I think it was last episode, wasn't it? About just how much trauma Tobias is working through. And I don't know, this is hard to sit with. This conversation hurt, and it hurt from both ends, with Rachel she really is worried about him.
Yeah.
And she really wants this to be true for him. And so she's pushing him towards what she sees as a solution. And Tobias is stuck on something. I don't quite understand what Tobias is stuck on fully, because I feel like the thing I would say to Tobias, if this were me and I were speaking to younger me or something, I would be like, well, you're you. That's the important part.
Yeah.
You don't have to perform birdness. You don't have to perform humanness. But I do need to talk to you because you have some special abilities and you seem to understand what I'm saying right now.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is that Tobias feels because this actually connects to the revelation he has at the end of the book. He feels between things. He feels not quite human enough, not quite hawk enough. And and he also has the sense that he should just be a pure hawk. Rachel has that phrase that you'll never be a pure hawk. And so he thinks he's just bad. He thinks it's like that freak of nature line he had earlier in the series.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize that, especially because they're a bunch of 12-year-olds stuck in a conflict that they shouldn't have to be fighting, that everyone feels pulled between things. But he thinks he's able to hoist too much of his crisis on this very literal in-betweenness that he is in, And they're also all going through puberty. I feel like that doesn't help.
It's true.
And imagine saying that to someone. Imagine saying you are what you are right now, but you weren't always that, and you're never going to be really that. You can never make that change. That's not a nice thing to say, but also in Tobias's case, he really isn't one or the other. He really is. And so what she's doing is she is correctly identifying, I think, that he is not truly a hawk.
Yeah.
But she's failing to see the part where he's not fully, completely a human now that he's had this experience. Even if he Nothlit's a human, he will never go back to being the human he was before he was a hawk. And he didn't like being a human when he was a human before he was a hawk. But that's wrapped up in it, right? He's trying to figure out what he didn't like. Did I not like my circumstances, or did I not like being a human?
Yeah.
Did I not like
right. And
my life?
Think that's
or
that last part is really well said, because I think that's where it's not like they had the option to morph before.
Right.
So his life was bad. And so in some ways, like, he's running away from what his life was. But there was a problem with being an animal. This is me guessing. I'm playing in the space. So people in the Discord, if you hear me and you're
I want to hear
totally
people's feelings.
hear,
this is a huge emotional book. I want to hear people's opinions.
Tobias's experience, I think, is so unique and so manifold that, like, I don't think, it's like, if it is, he's scared and he's running away, but then he ran away past Animorph because he doesn't know how to trust other people. I don't know.
It's confusing.
But so then the last part of that is, that's where, like, I wonder about it. Like, there's obvious puberty and trans allegory and, like, identity and, like, who am I and what is my thing? But then there's also a part of this that just feels really wrapped up in the trauma journey.
Yeah.
Which maybe everything always is. I mean, you can't get one without the other in all cases. So I think, I don't know, that's where I'm, like, really interested to hear, like, just like, everybody, our fans' takes.
They just made Tobias liminal all the way down, too, though, because he before Animorph starts, we're led. I think we know that Tobias has been passed back and forth literally by an aunt and uncle on different sides of the country. Like, I think it was East Coast and West Coast, and we don't know which. I
think you're right.
Like, he has no center. He's always straddling, like, two realities in every aspect of his life, including, we eventually learned, his conception.
Yeah.
Like, his father.
The thermal's a more beautiful metaphor,
and, like,
too. He's balancing.
He's being lifted up.
Yeah.
You know? And that's something that he feels as a hawk that he will never get to feel again. And he says that. He's like, he does focus in on losing being an Animorph and knowing that they'd all care about him and be nice to him, but, like, they wouldn't have this thing that bonded them. And that's the only reason they were really friends. Cassie and Rachel were friends. Marco and Jake were friends. Jake and Rachel were cousins, so they all kind of knew each other. But Tobias was really a sort of mystery ingredient, a new kid at school who was sort of thinking Jake might be a friend because Jake had defended him. And so he was not really in their group until this thing bonded them. So losing being an Animorph would lose the first real group connection he's had, even as it would make him human again, which would seemingly tie him back to them more.
Yeah.
So it's...
I wanted to hear... I feel like I cut you off and you were about to say something about Elfangor and Loren?
Well, just that Elfangor is not human. Like, that his parents... We learned that he straddles worlds in everything. Elfangor may have been human, quote unquote, when he provided the sperm that... I don't know why I have to get technical when I talk about this, that made Tobias.
It's sci-fi. It's because it's sci-fi.
Yeah, but, like, when he did that, it's like he may have technically been human, but, like, there was something different about him, and he was taken away from Tobias to fight this same war.
Yeah.
And I'm still sort of impressed because we get the impression at the end of Andalite Chronicles that Elfangor knows that that's who Tobias is. And there was this moment, this last moment where he touches his head and they say that he gave him more information. But I'm like, did he not tell him anything? But he, I guess, knew that this would happen.
And you're referring to the fact that he left a will.
He left a will. Yeah. I guess we don't know.
That. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
Can I
jump in, Eddie?
There's something I feel like, I know we're going long on this chapter, but there's a lot here.
No, I think
it's worth it.
This is like a chapter 7.
Yeah.
This is like it really is like, this is one of the biggest feel moments.
I agree. I felt that way.
In a long.
I feel like this is the most pubescent book that we've read yet. I feel like, or maybe I want to say something about Tobias feels super aware. It's like, and it's every time Aria, when she was changing in the hotel room, and also the thing with the bathroom, and just like, girls are mysterious, but like, and I know this is also, as far as Tobias understands, this is also his family member, but these are things that are in the book. And
also maybe like Beck's juvenileness.
Yeah.
Like Beck being a young Hork-Bashir who's lost.
But also Rachel and Tobias, they have to finally talk about the thing that's been going on here. Rachel,
yes.
And I get the feeling that it becomes, as much as we joke about the Rachel as a human, Tobias as a bird thing, I feel like what is partially, like literally in the room with them here, is that Rachel is into who Tobias was, and she wants Tobias to be a human again, partially because I think she was attracted to the human Tobias, and I feel like
I don't know that enters. I didn't see that as entering the fray that much. I really think she's mostly attracted to who he is as a person. But
yeah,
go on.
I guess, but she's not attracted to the bird. Is also
to
true.
the bird. Yeah, crucially,
and nothing can happen there. At least as far as we're,
I don't know. It's really so hard to tell with a book like this, where so much is like. It's really like what I do here is that she doesn't see a future.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know what her present attraction is or isn't, but what I do hear is that she doesn't see a long-term viability.
Well, she does say that there is an attraction that exists, though, because she says, what am I supposed to do, Tobias? I'm a girl, you're a bird. This is way past Romeo and Juliet, Montagues and Capulets.
Right.
And so, like, she is directly drawing, and she draws a comparison to Jake and Cassie as well. She's like, they're different races, but, like, only idiots would care about that in this day and age. Love you, babe. I love that.
It's such a good moment.
Does that feel fair, Eddie, though?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
She's saying there's nowhere we can go like this.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah. And there's also something for me, and this is definitely me reading between the lines, but the moment she brings this up, and she does it after there's a long pause, and then she says it in a whisper, what am I supposed to do, Tobias? I'm a girl, you're a bird.
Yeah.
It's such a good moment. We can't hold hands. We can't dance. We can't go to a movie together. They're talking about dates, like, and they're becoming teenagers. So there's just stuff was like, again, like using the phrase "all in the room." When I was reading.
They made a little joke earlier. She made a little joke earlier when she morphed Elephant and he morphed Pork Bajir. She was like, "We make a fine couple. Want to go to a dance?" It was very cute.
It's like there's the future that they would have together as two teenagers dating is like present because they're kind of grieving the future that they're seemingly not going to have together. Yeah,
which is also it's brilliant that you said that, because that is the one consistent thread against all of the characters. It's that they really are grieving that they're in this war. And
who they could have been.
They're not going to be able to have like a normal childhood. They still have so much of their childhood ahead, and they actually don't because of this war. Like
that's where, like, when I see Rachel's desperation and desire here, I feel also just like doubly sad because she's processing her own shit about wanting to have one part of her life be normal.
Yeah.
Right? And she's now projecting that on Tobias, who's having this identity moment. And like, it's painful to watch because it's just painful.
Yeah. She says he won't let anyone help him. She's like, no one's allowed to help you. You'd rather starve than ask for help and appear weak and all that. And then she also says, you wouldn't be an Animorph anymore, but then I wouldn't have to worry about you.
Yes,
and
that's the line. That's the line.
A gender dynamic flip, but it is such a relatable feeling of wanting the person you care for to be safe.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have that, knowing that he's out in the woods somewhere every night. It's why she leaves the window open, I feel like. You know what I mean? So that he always has a place to come. The door is always open.
Yeah, she was asleep. She was going to bed, and then when he flew in, she's like, no, don't go. I'm awake. Like, she's probably just relieved to see him because...
Right. Because any night could be the night when he's killed inexplicably out in nature.
Yeah. And then there's also just this moment, Tobias is about to, like, leave her room, like, because he can't take it. He says, I couldn't take anymore. I just couldn't. It was too much. I felt like I'd explode if I didn't get away from her. I couldn't be that near to her. Couldn't. Okay, so this is also the thing. I read this, and I know it's because of the emotion, but I also feel like I was also hearing that, like, he's, like, attracted to Rachel was also how I read this, and they're talking about
the idea of it is in his brain. So, like, if he's near her, he's treating this idea of going back to human as a fantasy right now, and he views her as, like, what he would get if he gave into that fantasy. Not as a prize like that. I don't mean it like that, but like she represents the life he could live in his brain because she's who he wants to live it with. Mm-hmm. I feel like.
Yeah.
So like he needs to leave or he is just going to listen to her and make the decision because she's saying one more change, Tobias, back to human. You don't have to do this war. You don't have to do any of this. and he wants to make the decision on his own terms.
Yeah. The one thought that, like, I'm not totally married to this, but something that was running through my head, and that this is sort of the last thing I'll say, is, like, I'm curious because of its 90s-ness. I'm just, like, some of this is, like, I don't know, doesn't it kind of, like, reek of, like, AMAB dealing with trauma, kind of, like it has that, like, man doesn't know how to...
Yeah, can't appear weak. And he's using the hawk as the reason that weak hawks die, as the reason that he can't bring his feelings to the forefront. Because he's like, don't you think I know? Don't you think I know? But I can't do any of that because hawks can't be weak. But that is very much like, yeah, go ahead.
And so, like, while I think that all this other, like, beautiful read that we're talking about, there's also this read of, like, speaking to some moment of the zeitgeist of, like, 90s masculinity and being like, you don't have to choose this. Like, there are people, like there's some sort of message here that also has to do with, like, you're about to step into manhood, quote unquote, like, in a very straight society potentially, and they're going to tell you that you have to do X, Y, and Z, but what is actually important is that you're you.
Yeah.
And I do catch a valence of that.
Totally.
And I think all of it is really beautiful. Like, it's just everything about it is Tobias the dream is that this will all turn out to be Tobias affirming.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that I want.
Yeah.
Very
You can be the baby rabbit. Like, he is learning to, like, I mean, it's just so funny you say that though, Chris, because as Miranda's pointed out, like, Rachel is embodying so many of the masculine.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, good point.
Like,
good point. Keep going.
And
sorry.
And that Tobias is, like, the one walking gingerly behind her. He's the one who has to escort back. He's the one who is this emotional connection that
who morphs the female Hork-Bajir.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's all so much more complicated than it would be in a different book. Like,
and then my last thought, and this is my last thought, but, like, also, like, one of the things that we talk about with Rachel books is about societal violence towards women-seeming people. And then this, like, if you include that as a layer for Tobias, then it's like, oh, there's, like, this almost, like, balance of, like, this is, like, you don't have to push yourself out in this direction.
Yeah.
Like, with Rachel, the world's out to get her in this traditional
this
way.
is
And with Tobias, like,
less obvious violence that's done toward often AMAB socialized masculine people who are like, you don't think of it as oppression in the same, but I'm not saying I assume that you don't,
it's
but
just
many
toxic
people,
masculinity.
Toxic, but many people don't realize, because it's seemingly more subtle, just this message that you can't have feelings. They don't realize what that does to a person and how awful that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow, what a fucking chapter.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
We should just hit the little note that how sweet it is that Rachel and Marco looked into and found out Tobias's birthday.
He hacked his school system to find his birthday.
Yeah, and Marco and Tobias are so at odds with each other, but I do feel like there's a kind of care that Marco, even if Rachel asked him, he's showing a kind of care.
There's almost kind of like a cute little, like, don't be threatened by Marco. Like, Marco cares about you too.
Yeah.
It's like, because earlier in the book when Marco and Rachel had that human tenderness moment, it's like, no, the two of them also, like, did this thing.
Yeah. And we know that for Marco, Tobias represents, like, his worst fear about what could happen. Like, I feel like it's a lot of his anxieties about morphing and even, like,
Marco's come damn close.
Yeah, because for him, being taken away from his family is the worst thing that could happen. Yeah. And for Tobias, it was kind of the best thing that happened.
Yeah. Really and I feel like something must have clicked into place. And we'll never get this moment, but, like, Marco having to look in the records to find Tobias's birthday is such a private, like, vulnerable thing to read someone's, like, file, I would think. And maybe it put Tobias a little bit more into perspective for him. I don't know.
Oh, for Marco? I love that scene.
Yeah.
I love, like, envisioning that scene. Yeah.
He might have seen how many schools he's transferred to year after year after year, all that stuff. All right, chapter 23.
Yep.
All right.
Tobias doesn't sleep that night, reflecting on his conversation with Rachel. Human or hawk? Which one is Tobias? He sees the other hawk in his meadow. He sees the rabbits down below in the grass. Tobias longs to just dive down on his prey, but he knows that if he does, he will have that vision of himself as his own prey again. He blames his humanness for these visions. Tobias nearly chooses to become a human once and for all, right there. But then he remembers that he still needs to help the Hork-Bajir. He returns to his hawk form and feasts on roadkill once more, a cat he found earlier on the pavement. He says this is the last time he's going to do it, guys. He's like, all right, I'm going to have gay thoughts one more time for 10 seconds, and that's it.
Yeah.
Those are my last
and it
gay
works.
thoughts.
Then it's me and Rachel. She's all the man, all effort. I'd be waiting.
But no, it did feel very like, okay, I can just do this one more time, and then it never has to happen again. It's fine.
But I also I love this chapter because it is the extension of the brutality of last chapter. It's it's not a happy chapter yet.
Yeah.
Last chapter, he landed squarely in the I can't just be a human, and now he's trying out this idea of, well, what if I was just a human?
Yeah. Are the visions that he's having, are those all missed interference? Or are those just like...
I don't think so.
I actually was like, I rewrote my opinion on this today.
Oh?
I think but I think originally I was having the thought Eddie's having. And then now I'm like, no, this is actually an anxiety
I thought it was
disorder,
just I thought it was just a representation of the sort of his predator and prey that's at war within him.
Yeah.
Where he's sort of thinking of his human form as prey because he was preyed upon in several ways, like by bullies and things like that in his human form. Yeah. And the hawk form, Chris, you've said, has fulfilled
Miranda,
a certain...
you're so smart. God damn it.
His hawk form has fulfilled a certain power fantasy that he had, but now he's realizing that it's not, all it's quite cracked up to be.
That's the piece I was missing, because we're about to talk about this in chapter 24. This is where they have the push and push back. They push, you push back.
Yep.
He was preyed upon by who? I missed it.
Bullies. I said just bullies. Yeah.
He was bullied. I think that is where we're going. I mean, maybe we should just move to chapter 24 go for
No,
it.
I think
I'm sorry.
Bullies, but on every level of society, I feel like he was
he was
right.
either
neglected
or directly preyed upon. Yeah, he was
power, no agency.
Helpless or actively harmed were his two states.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I get his urge. I mean, he's scared of this idea of being taken care of because it's never fucking worked before.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to let himself hope that he could be taken care of only to have it taken away because that's happened before. And he's finally in a world where he thought he felt powerful and this other hawk comes in and now he's suddenly having these visions of himself as a rabbit. And he's like, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I'm not a hawk. Maybe I don't fucking know anymore. And I feel that for him. I really do.
Yeah.
All right. Take it away.
Chapter 24. The Animorphs meet with the Free Hork-Bajir. Tobias explains everything that happened with the failed rescue plan, as well as their prediction that Beck will be used as bait. He assures the Hork-Bajir that the Animorphs will save Beck as long as the Hork-Bajir reveal the location of that secret facility. Toby agrees to this as long as the Free Hork-Bajir join the Animorphs. If the Animorphs are going to spring a trap, they must do the unexpected. The Yeerks are expecting a rescue mission. Instead, the Animorphs and Hork-Bajir will destroy the entire facility. The Yeerks.
It's been a while, but it's probably worth mentioning that Toby is a seer Hork-Bajir of the freed Hork-Bajir who's named after Tobias.
After Tobias, yes. I guess that could get a little confusing. We call him Toby on occasion, yeah.
Well, no, and he's Toby in the books.
No, she's Toby.
Tobias.
We call him Toby. She's Toby in the books.
Toby. Okay. Thank you. Take it away.
The Yeerks, Toby says, must not be allowed to think that they can use hostages against us. The point is to defeat the Yeerks. We must be strong. Once we free a Hork-Bajir, he must never be taken again. End quote. Toby says that a fool is strong so that others see their strength. A wise person is strong for themselves. The Hork-Bajir must be strong for themselves. That way, they can be strong even when their Yeerks are gone. Strong, 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 strong. The Animorphs and Hork-Bajir travel to the Yeerk facility. Tobias wonders how humans and Hork-Bajir will one day live alongside each other after the war. He's not optimistic given the human track record of living alongside those who are considered different. Isn't all of history the same pattern of get pushed, push back? Is there any other way to go through life? Tobias wonders if his conflict with the hawk is really that different from what humans deal with on a regular basis. Yes, he's half instinctive hawk, half human, but aren't all humans torn between savage and saint? Isn't everyone trying to know when to fight and when to turn the other cheek? Maybe Tobias would wrestle these same things even if he chose to live life as a human. Whew, lots going on in these chapters.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's like it's so dense.
Yeah. I don't know that we've had actually a book anywhere near as interior as this one. I actually feel like this.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since we saw Tobias, so it's,
and he's
you know,
deep
and
in
it's
there.
always him.
He really is.
But you know, Toby, I'm interested in this flip from Toby because Toby's original reason for not
I'm sorry. Who are you talking about?
Tobeans, the Hork-Bajir.
Tobies, the Hork-Bajir. Okay, cool.
Tobians, the Hork-Bajir, originally didn't want to share with the Animorphs the location of the facility because she thought they would just blow it up. And now she's like,
right.
you know what? Before I was not on board with this scorched earth shit, but now it sounds kind of good. Maybe we just maybe we do it. Let's blow shit up to prove that we can. Not to them. They know we can blow shit up, but we need to prove to ourselves that we can blow shit up. But I understand her point that they've been backed into a corner here, right? Where they're left with fewer good options than before. Before, when Beck was just missing and only maybe was at that location, but may have been somewhere else, which is still technically true, but now they know the Yeerks have Beck. So this is different. But when she says we need to we need them to know they can't use hostages against us, that was a horrific 90s gut punch. Or it's more of a late 80s gut punch, but it was I felt that. I felt the cultural atmosphere that led to that moment. You know, we do not negotiate with certain kinds of people. And it just felt interesting to see her switch like that and then rationalize it and know that all the other Hork-Bajir will listen to her. That's something that I've been mulling over this last rereading of it, that she has a lot of power.
Yeah.
Toby specifically.
Yeah. And all of her.
Toby is definitely
her processing and she is not a narrator in these books.
Nope.
All of how she got from point A to point B happens entirely off screen, and you feel it. It feels like an about face, and yeah. I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say the other thing that is interesting about your summary about isn't it all just push each other, push back or whatever, and talking about the patterns of violence and difference. It's Rachel who first goes to agree with Toby, which is just an interesting texture. And then Cassie comes back and is like, oh, isn't that just a great outlook? And Rachel's like, well, it was true in these cases.
And Cassie points out 2 cases where, escalating, using violence in intense situations only escalated things. It didn't lead to anybody, sort of winning. And I had that as a note. I said, sometimes force is good. What about these times force was bad? Marco, quick, break the tension with a bad impression. It'll distract her.
It's true. Writing this summary, this is a dense chapter. There were a couple like this, and I couldn't believe, given how short chapters sometimes are in the series, that they didn't give us some kind of break. We sit in it in a way that you often don't. This is a denser book than we get, unless it's a Chronicles book for the most part. This is...
Yeah, because the pivot...
No, this is denser than even Chronicles.
The pivot is, Marco does a Sean Connery impression, says, you put one of ours in the hospital, we put one of yours in the morgue, but with, the lisp and everything. And they joke that they thought he was doing Urkel. And they're just ha, ha, ha. And then it's we assembled a strike team of Hork-Bajir. And then he's introduced to a Hork-Bajir who he had injured in the past when he was a controller, and he's like, oh, we fought. I said, ah! He's like, oh, yeah, I remember the guy who said, ah!
Yeah. It's nuts.
And he's like, oh, he sees sees his scar and he's like, oh, I'm sorry I did that. And he's like, no, you don't need to be sorry because I wasn't free. Now he says it in the he says, no sorry, falta gut, not free. And he says, falta gut have yerk, now free, good, hork bajir and humans friends, Toby say.
Yeah.
And that Toby say hit me because he's like, I'm like, he had this thought, hey, that's the guy who tried to rip my eye out. And Toby was like, he is your friend. And he was like, he's my friend.
Not to mention that Toby is the one Hork-Bajir who's also kind of hip with being suspicious about humans.
Yep.
So she's facilitating this moment, but she knows how far it goes. And then this was also, I don't know, this, just because it's so literal, it feels so pedantic to bring this up, but they talk about how humans have a track record with not liking people because they're different. And it's I wondered about the image of a Hork-Bajir and humans living side by side if the Yeerks were defeated. Humans didn't have a great track record of getting along with different people different from themselves. Humans killed one another over skin color, eye shape, or because they prayed differently to the same God. That's true. We did do that.
Yep.
Hard to imagine humans welcoming 7-foot-tall goblins into the local Boy Scout troop when they couldn't even manage to tolerate some gay kid.
Now, Eddie, as a 7-foot-tall Eagle Scout, how do you feel about that?
I wasn't going to bring that
I'm really
up,
sorry I cut you off.
I wish I had read this this book as a kid, though, because, I feel like it's pretty wild that Scholastic even let them, I think we referenced this already.
Yes.
Yep. Mention a gay kid.
Exactly.
Exactly. And then it's Tobias saying it. It's not Cassie who it's oh yeah, of course Cassie would bring that up, but it's just
right.
Yeah.
She's the crazy leftist or whatever.
Yeah.
She's the
she is our crazy leftist.
And
she's a PC fan.
And she's clearly in a relationship. I was going to say a physical relationship, but I don't mean that way. I just mean she and Jake are both
With
human.
The whale?
No, she and Jake are both human, so they could have a physical relationship, whereas Tobias's relationship is much more sort of well, he and Rachel like each other, but that's not really. So it's if Cassie said it, it would be oh, but Cassie's in a straight relationship. So we can do that.
Yeah.
And it feels a little bit, like I said, they do very much make Tobias say that he's not technically attracted to the male bald eagle morph.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't mate, quote unquote. But he does feel like Rachel becoming a bird is attractive to him. How she looks when she becomes a bird. It's very, fourth level,
There's
abstracted.
So much
I'm attracted to her
yeah.
spirit, actually.
Or he's just attracted that she's moving closer to him and his predicament in those moments. I don't know.
And
it's
so the fact,
as hell.
I was really blown away that they let all that happen, and then they also let him say that they're fighting over some gay kid. They won't tolerate some gay kid, and that he's thinking about that, and that these kids are thinking about that, and we're younger than these books, you know what I mean? These were getting published in the 90s, they were still going out in the 2000s, so we did, and you guys more than me did see them
Rachel's
as
an
kids.
ox.
Rachel's an ox, but
in the Chinese
in
Zodiac.
the Chinese Zodiac,
I know
Jesus,
that as a fact.
that's crazy. But so
Why?
I don't know. Just we're middle school
I looked it
kids. We're middle school kids thinking about this is something that I was wow, I guess they probably were. I was thinking about this in middle school, but I was a little bit behind them, so I didn't think about it. But I'm yeah, they probably totally were thinking about this. And a lot of this is when a lot of firsts of big celebrities coming out, Nathan Lane came out in the late 90s. The Birdcage was made. He wasn't out yet, but in 99, he came out publicly.
Yeah.
And not that Nathan Lane is a figurehead to anyone but me specifically, but it is.
Well, and I think it also just goes to show you that no matter what it looked like when you were a child, that there was a version of this that was the version of it that happened when other people were children, older and younger. And I don't know, that's a nice thing to realize is there were people that were tuned into it. Much like the movie that Eddie and I saw last night. It's the signs are all there if you're there to receive. Why am I quoting a movie we saw?
We watched the movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
We watched Hokum.
It had a profound effect on me.
Great. I will say one last thing I do kind of want to note, just that's interesting, is that shapeshifters, and werewolves in particular, but all shapeshifting creatures, tend to come to the forefront when the collective unconscious, the subconscious of the public, is concerned about lines between civility and nature, between like
Can you give us a historical example?
So like, I can't remember exactly when it is, but like a lot of the earliest vampire stories come from early like cities that were just being like, now we live off of agriculture, but it's done somewhere else. Like, we don't see the animals. And so this idea that they were above, like in that case, we're above the base nature of the animalistic urges. And so these shapeshifters and things that are actually more base, instinct-based creatures that can shift and look like what you think is a quote-unquote moral upstanding citizen tend to drift to the forefront during those times. Vampires have been very popular in the last 100 years because people theorize that vampires have to do with this anxiety and confrontation with end of life no longer being what it used to be. Like the developments in medicine and things like that extended life. People are thinking about what longer lives look like. And so this idea of like vampires who are living longer, but who are maybe doing it at the cost of someone else.
You're telling me that this is why my excuse that I was a werewolf didn't get me out of jury duty.
Right, yeah,
like,
because
they were wise.
Yes.
They were like, wolves actually do have enough cognitive ability to understand the penal code, so that's not like a good excuse.
Do you know what shocked the hell out of me? The judge howled back.
They run the courts.
Like Aru, yeah. They run the courts. I think it's Doctor Who where Queen Victoria is revealed to be, is it Queen Victoria is a werewolf? And they're like, oh my God, the entire royal family. They're like, you never see them on a full moon. That's interesting. Like, they're all like...
Thanks for listening to Anidorks. We'll be back soon with lots more to say. Until the Andalites return, or at least until next time. See you soon!